G'day guys, my name's TwoDollarTwenty and I'm collaborating with Paradox Interactive to bring you a Plazas and Promenades City Skylines tutorial. Today we'll be creating a downtown plaza waterfront using the new Plazas and Promenades DLC and some help from some mods from the Steam Workshop. I'll be talking through the different mods that I'm using and how to use them, and if you're interested in checking them out for yourself, then there's a link to the Steam collection in the description below. The Plazas and Promenades DLC allows us to place buildings on pedestrian pathways, allowing us to build something that I've always struggled with in city skylines: realistic and functional downtown waterfronts. These places are almost always walkable shopping districts, lined with plazas, parks and entertainment, which is now super easy to do with the new DLC. For this tutorial, we're going to be building in my city of Sunset City. This is a city based on Miami in the 1980s. Before I start building anything, I always check out Google Earth to get a little bit of inspiration. I really like these palm tree lined quays with the marinas along the waterfront. Some mixed zoning with some residential condos up top and then some shopping districts down below. Our city has both residential and commercial demand, as well as fairly low land value in the downtown. Tourism could really use a bit of a boost, so a bustling waterfront plaza district is exactly what Sunset City needs. Let's start by mapping out the key. I'm using the Network Anarchy mod to turn off grid snapping. This allows me to be a little bit more precise with whereabouts I want the key to sit. It's also a good idea to turn off collision. This means that your network won't accidentally demolish something you've already built. I'm pretty happy with where the key sits, but I'm going to use the mover mod just to drag a couple of these nodes into better locations. With everything looking a whole lot nicer down here, it's now time to start placing out our pedestrian areas. With Network Anarchy still enabled, I can drag out this pedestrian pathway super close to our key. It's as simple as aligning it up and dragging it out. How good does that look? Nah, I'm just kidding, this looks terrible. With our good friend Mover mod, we can select the nodes of the pedestrian pathway and then we can align them up to the key nodes, which means that our key and our walkway are going to be the exact same height. This is a technique that I use for pretty much every network: drag out the basic idea and then use the Mover mod just to make it look a little bit nicer. I'm going to continue to drag out our pedestrian roads, connecting them to the busiest areas of the city, and then also to our public transport options. There's 2 monorail stations down here, so I want to make sure that people can access that. We'll be building another option a little bit later on. With our pedestrian roads so close to the key, we have a little bit of grass creeping into the river. We can't have that. I'm going to use this pier network by Ronix that's going to cover up this grassy area. I was going to do this anyway, so this actually works out really well. There's still a little bit of grassiness poking through, but I'm going to use these boats to cover it up. There, like it never existed. And with that, I can reshuffle around some of these buildings. Now that we've got access to these pedestrian roads, I can place these buildings right up to the water's edge. On the other side of the river, I'm placing down a theatre, and then with Anarchy and Move It still enabled, I can drag the condo right on top of it. Splicing the two together, I've got that mixed zoning I was talking about, imagining that this could be some sort of hotel entertainment combo. And now this little river is becoming a pretty bustling place, so we definitely need some more options for public transport. Of course, we're going to choose ferries. A ferry running along this river is absolutely perfect. With just the 2 for now, one at the entrance of the river and then another one close to where the hospital is, I create just a simple ferry network just to test it out, and man, this looks so good. I mean, the ferries are a little big, but we'll swap them out for some smaller ones a little later on. And with that, it's now time to paint out our pedestrian district. Giving our new buildings that we place down the services that they need, I'm actually able to place the cargo service point and trash collection point far enough away from these areas so they don't cause any headaches. But you know what, no one's going to visit this place if there's nothing worth visiting, so we need to start placing down some commercial buildings and getting into some detailing. I'm using the Finder mods to find the perfect buildings to fit within this area. This little restaurant is excellent for this corner, but honestly, I don't think anything's going to top the positioning of this curvy building. And then to finish off the buildings, I'm placing it on the shopping plaza, using Move It to splice it into this condo that sits up top. This is fulfilling some of the commercial demand and also attracting people to walk along this walkway. And with the buildings all placed, it's now time to get into my favorite part of any build, and that's the detail work. I'm starting with a simple fountain and then surrounding it with lots of bushes and trees. I want this plaza to be nice and green, so I'm going pretty heavy with these trees, especially these palm trees. I want these to really feature in this plaza. I'm using Move It to copy and paste them into different areas, and with Move It, I'm also able to place them onto some of these networks. And that's the same for these props. I'm using Prop Anarchy mode so that I can actually place down these props such as benches and pagodas and place them down onto these networks. I really love this part because it's when the build really shines, and I think this area is starting to look super nice. And I'm stoked to see people using this area. I mean, they love it down here. But anyway, that's it for this tutorial. Hope it's been useful. Subscribe if you'd like to see more like this, and we'll see you again next time.